Hi, in this video we're going to look at how to set up a pop-up simulator. I'm sure you'll have heard of a pop-up restaurant or a pop-up shop. Well, a pop-up simulator is the installation of the simulator hardware into a tower that doesn't have one at the moment, so that you can train or you can practice for a session. I've got with me a receiver, my Simbell transmitter and a battery pack, and of course my trusty laptop. We're here at St Mary's in Tilston. It is my local tower, hasn't got a simulator installed at the moment, so we're going to show you how easy it is to get set up and get practicing. So let's get started. So we're now in the ringing chamber of St Mary's. It is, as you can see, a ground floor ring with the west door behind us, the tower door just to the side. And what I've done is I've put the table on which we're going to put the laptop and the receiver on one side of the room, and the logical option is for us to choose one of the bells on which to install our pop-up simulator opposite it. Now in this case I'm going to use bell number 3, which is this one. So we'll leave that rope down and we'll put all the others out of the way. And now we're ready to go up into the belfry and install the transmitter unit onto the number 3 bell. Right, so here we are in the belfry of St Mary's. You can see we have a steel frame, and that gives us quite a nice little option for our transmitters and our battery pack, because what I've done is I've just glued a couple of neodymium magnets onto the base of the transmitter, which means that basically I can stick it anywhere I want on the frame and it will just sit there. So it's a very, very convenient way of doing it if you have a metal frame. If you don't, then you have two options. One is to use Velcro or hook and loop and actually wrap it around the frame and tie the transmitter down, or alternatively you can use cable ties or zip ties, but of course these are a bit more of a permanent arrangement. So I'm going to stick with the magnets. So the first thing we have to do is to set up the transmitter for the bell number. Now, it's not absolutely essential that you do this. You can set any bell as any number and then just select it on the software. But for ease of doing it, if you look in the hardware installation guide for Simbell, you'll find that there is a part called changing the bell number on the transmitter, and there is a table here that gives you the switch settings that you need. Now we are going to set it up on bell number 3, so I'm going to pop the bottom off the transmitter, and then I'm going to set switches number 1 and 2 to on, and that means that the information sent from this transmitter will be bell number 3. Okay, so now we're going to fix our transmitter onto bell number 3. You'll see on the side of the transmitter there is the detection eyes, if you want to call them. Those need to be in line with the wheel. And then we take our reflective strip and we need to put that onto the wheel. These are self-adhesive. We literally just take that straight across the wheel and put it in place. We can check that it's in line, which it is. We're going to put the aerial just slightly over the side of the frame. We don't want the aerial in line with the frame because that will stop the radio signals. So to give it a good path down to the ringing room, then we'll just put it over the side like that. Power we get from a battery. Again, a couple of magnets, and I've put a couple of turns into the cable so that it can't flap around near the wheel. So we click that on plug it in, and if we turn it on the switch here, that's now ready to go. We can just check that the sensors are seeing this reflective strip by simply moving it, and if you can see a small red flash if you look at the eyes there. Now we also obviously have to tie the clapper. Now if you are setting it up so that it's an exact replica or as close as you can get to the bell you're ringing, then the best way to do that is to leave the clapper open, go downstairs, set up the software and then just the delay timing so that the strikes appear at the same time. You can then come back upstairs and tie the clapper. The alternative to that for general teaching purposes would be to set the delay time so that the strike happens when the hands go upwards in front of your face. It's a good approximation. So what I'm going to do is tie this clapper, and then we'll go downstairs and make sure that everything's working. So we're back in the ringing room. I've set up the laptop where it can easily be seen from the rope that I'm going to use. I've installed a small external speaker just to give a little bit more volume. Make sure if you use an external speaker that it's wired and not one of the Bluetooth ones. A Bluetooth one will put in delays into the sound that you hear. I've also plugged in the Simbell receiver and activated it in the virtual belfry software. There are other videos on how to set up the Simbell system with Able, virtual belfry and bell tower. So it's now actively looking for signals coming down from the belfry, and there's nothing more for me to do really but to test it by just moving the bell rope. If I move it, I get a corresponding bong from the simulator software, which means that the signals are finding their way down to here, and I can now start whatever practice or training session that I want to as a pop-up session. So it's taken us between 10 and 15 minutes to set the whole thing up. It'll take about 5 to take it and put it all away again. But I hope that's been useful. Thanks very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon.